Hey everyone, welcome to the reading for today. We're going to see what you guys need to know right now. It's going to be a general collective tarot reading, okay? You can see if it resonates for you or not. I'm going to get into the tarot in a second. Before I do, I have something I want to talk about. It's a story that has come up for me, and I'm being called to share it, so I feel like there is going to be a message in it. All right. If you don't want to hear it, you can skip forward to the tarot. Now, before I get into the story, I want to say two things. So, for one, this story doesn't necessarily have to relate to the tarot that's going to come out later. Okay, I feel like there's a message here within the message. All right. And the second thing is a quick trigger warning, all right, because I am going to be talking about things like pregnancy or pregnancy loss, all right. Now, the story that I want to share with you guys, so there was a couple, okay, and this couple didn't have any intentions of getting pregnant, all right. But sometimes things just happen, right? Like you don't plan for it, okay? And what ended up ensuing here is that there was a pregnancy loss, all right? It didn't get very far at all. It was only like 1 or 2 weeks tops, okay? But there was a positive pregnancy test, okay? And in that 1 week between the pregnancy test and the bleeding that happened, you know, when you're sitting there as a woman and you're thinking, oh, am I pregnant? Am I pregnant? Am I really pregnant, right? A lot of things are going through your mind, and you're kind of already mentally preparing yourself for the possibility of that, right? Now, this person, like I said, they didn't have any intention of getting pregnant. For them, it was also very clear that if they were to get pregnant or have a baby, it had to be planned. You had to be ready for it. You had to be financially ready for it. You know, the situation had to this person didn't just want to wing it, okay? She didn't just want to go into something like that impulsively because she realized or she knew that this was a big responsibility, right? So it wasn't that there was for this particular person, it wasn't that there was a big wish for a pregnancy, all right? But this was also someone that was strictly against abortion, okay? If they had been pregnant, they would not have gotten an abortion. They would have carried it all the way to the end, okay? Now, what ended up happening in this situation is that, like I said, it didn't bear any fruit. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't really even implant, okay? And the situation in that 1 week, you know, her partner was saying things to her like, we're gonna do this, we can do this, it's gonna be great, okay? You know, I'm gonna be here for you. And the minute that the loss happened, the partner quickly switched to, well, I'm actually really relieved that it's gone, and I'm actually really glad that you're not pregnant, you know. And that was the hurtful thing in this situation for her, okay? So what I'm kind of getting at with this story, and why I feel like this is part of the message, is like sometimes when you're looking at these situations from the outside, it can seem very black and white, okay? When there's a big fight that ends up happening after a loss like this, it can kind of look like the woman wanted a baby and the man did not, okay? But these situations, they can be very nuanced, they can be very layered. And like I said, she didn't really want to get pregnant, okay? It wasn't really on her radar, but she knew that if it happened, she would carry it through. So the pain that ensued from this fight wasn't really even that she was upset about the loss as much as she was upset about the reaction. All right. She was upset about the reaction from her partner. Okay. Because she felt like she had been deserted in a way, right? Or how can you say to someone that is like, even if it was just a week, you're kind of grappling with the fact that for a week you thought, oh, you might be having a baby, and then all of a sudden it's not going there. And then the partner says to you, well, I'm actually glad that it's not there. And, a couple days prior, this person was saying, oh, we're going to do this together and I'm really happy and, I can't wait. And then afterwards, oh, I'm really glad that you lost it. I'm actually really glad that you're not pregnant. And the man's arguments were things like, we're not financially ready for it. We don't really have the finances for it. This is not a good time for it. And those arguments are valid because the woman, to an extent, felt the same way, right? That, maybe it wasn't the best time. But it's not, in this situation, it's like, it's not what actually happened as much as it was this person's reaction that really hurt. So I feel like that's where the message lies, right? Is that feeling of almost disbelief, because, and I feel like maybe many women can relate to this feeling, right? It's like, how should I say this? You want to feel like you have a partner that will go through this with you, all right? Or is standing by your side, or you're going to do it together, or that you can lean on this person. But when they turn around and say things to you like, well, I'm actually really glad that happened. I'm actually really relieved. And, it's not the right time. It's like you feel, it's almost like you feel rejected. You feel, in a sense, you do feel rejected, right? Or this person, they felt very rejected by their partner because it's like, yeah, okay, so the times aren't right. Yes, we can agree on that. The finances aren't right. We can agree on that. But the rejection is like, well, how can you not, I mean, you still don't want it with me? Like if it were to happen, you wouldn't want it. And you see that sometimes as well with men that, just because it's not a good time for them, or, they don't want it at that time, they want you to pressure you to get an abortion, or they'll try to pressure you into, taking Plan B. And it's only because of what they want, and they don't really take accountability for the fact that they are also a part of this, right? And that kind of puts you in a weird position as a woman, especially if you're someone you don't believe in stuff like that. You wouldn't ever get rid of it if it happened, right? But then you have a partner that's not supportive, or that makes you feel like they're not supportive, or they make you feel like they're glad that that it was lost. All right, it's like there's something here in the message about that. Okay. Because it makes something about feeling stabbed in the back, and it's not as much about what actually happened as much as it's about someone's reaction to what happened. Okay, or feeling like you were the only one that was truly, in something with someone, and the other person was faking it, or pretending, and then afterwards saying they're actually glad. It's pretty hurtful. Okay, so I don't know what's gonna come out here, guys. That's just the first message that I got here. Okay, that's just the first message that I have. So let's see what this is about. Spirit, what are you trying to tell us about here? What's the message in this? It's kind of like in a relationship dynamic where you can both agree that something isn't the right time. And this can be anything. It doesn't have to be with something like pregnancy, okay? But it's like you can both agree that maybe something isn't the best time, or you don't have the money right now. But there's also things that happen unexpectedly, okay? There's hurdles, there's issues, there's problems that need to be solved together. And, you can't always plan everything perfectly. And when, push comes to shove, you want to feel like you're at least with someone that would face the storm with you together, okay? And not be glad, not feel relief. If you're suffering through something, they shouldn't feel a sense of relief, or tell you things like, oh, they're glad that something didn't work out just because it doesn't fit into their best time plan, or it doesn't fit into their life at the time. It's like kind of disregarding your emotions, disregarding your feelings or your wishes, because for them it's not a practical time. In that situation, that man was only really thinking about their practicality, right? What's practical for them, what fits into their life currently, and disregarding what someone else was going through emotionally, okay? Having to grapple with that, right? So let's see, what's this about? The Page of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like communication about money, or not being financially stable, not being financially ready for something, right? It's like, again, kind of like my example, it's like you can agree that from a responsible point of view, it's not maybe the best time, or yeah, you could work on your money a little bit better, and there's something about that, right? Okay, like you don't want to make irresponsible decisions, but sometimes you can't plan things, all right? The Two of Wands, yeah, choices, a plan. This is even like the Eight of Pentacles. This is even like, okay, like, look, it's not good right now, but maybe in the future, when we're more financially stable, when things are, if we're talking about something like a child, or like a marriage, like a house, whatever it is, that's like a shared responsibility in a relationship, okay? I mean, this could even be like an investment, like making a big investment in a business, all right? It doesn't have to be like a pregnancy, okay? But, it's like a big investment in a company, okay? Like you get a deal or something, and you feel ready for it, even though you know that, you would have to sacrifice a few things to really make it happen. The deal falls through. You're disappointed because you were kind of already thinking about how this could go, and you were kind of getting ready to kind of pinch your pennies together and just make it work somehow, and then your partner says, man, I'm really glad that thing fell through. I'm really relieved. And it's like you're sitting there in absolute disappointment, because you do have to kind of, it is disappointing, that's a natural human emotion to feel, okay? Realizing that the person that told you a week ago, oh man, I can't wait, it's going to be so amazing, it's like, how can they switch so fast? It's one thing to kind of let everything settle down in the dust, and then a couple months later talk about it again, revisit it, and say, oh, actually looking back, maybe it wasn't the right time, and everything kind of works out the way it's supposed to, and maybe in the future is a better time. But to instantly, I mean, like on the same exact day as something disappointing happens, to say, oh man, I'm actually really glad, it makes you feel like that person is showing you their true colors, or they're showing you how they actually felt all along, and that they actually didn't want whatever this is, but they were just pretending, right? Because how else can somebody's mask fall off so quickly? Right? It's giving me something like that. So let's see. Why is the Page of Swords here? The Five of Swords and the Empress. So this could be about any kind of birthing, if you want to put it that way, all right? It could be birthing an actual child, a pregnancy, because the Empress is pregnant, or birthing an idea or something new, all right? Bringing something new into the world, right? Some sort of communication here, information, where you maybe felt like somebody was being really backhanded or really, you know, like this is like they don't care. Like they were saying things to you that made you feel like they don't really even care about how you feel, or they're just being very selfish about their point of view in this, right? It's like they're only thinking about how this is best for them or better for them. It's disregarding someone else's perspective, I guess you could say. The Hierophant. Okay, what's the Nine of Pentacles? A message about a home, a community, stability, a union, or like a house, or moving together, or, you know, building something together, having a life together, building together, wanting that to be stable. And yeah, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that mindset. And actually, that's a very responsible mindset, okay? That you want to make sure that you're building things in a stable way and that you're financially set for the decisions that you're making, right? Then, yeah, long-term plans, right? And I feel like for you, look, both of you are like this, okay? You and your partner, you are both this way. You are both people, you tend to plan long-term. You tend to think about your financial situation. If you build something, you want to make sure you build it correctly, you know, but I feel like in this situation, you are more maybe spontaneous than your partner, or you are better equipped to deal with unexpected hurdles. Okay, so if something unexpected comes up that doesn't fit into your plan, and you have to adapt to it, and you kind of have to kind of come off of this 5-year plan that you had, I feel like you're more equipped to adapt to that, I guess you could say, right? So if you're in that kind of a conversation with someone, and you know, you both know, like I said, it's a valid point. You both know that financially things have to look differently, or you have to make, you know, it has to be a plan, it has to be planned out, it has to be planned well. But I don't know, let me just see. What's the Two of Wands? The Star in reverse. Yeah, no wish fulfillment. Or the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Not receiving something, not something being not fair, no equal give and take. The Fool. Yeah, a new beginning, or taking a leap of faith, all right? Making a choice, taking a leap of faith, because there's no wish fulfillment here, or something doesn't feel inspiring. There's no equal give and take. Somebody's not generous to you. There's no reciprocity. Okay. A fight. Yeah, there could have been a fight that happened here. So tell me about this Page of Swords. The Six of Swords. And Death. Yeah, so something ending completely, all right? Whatever it is, whatever was being birthed here, or whatever was being cultivated here as the Empress, right? I feel like the Empress is not a person as much as it's like this energy of something that was going to be born unexpectedly, all right? But then it didn't, okay? It ended permanently, completely. And the Six of Swords is like, yeah, somebody saying that they're relieved. I feel like that's the person you're dealing with. They're like, oh, thank God. Thank God it didn't go anywhere. Thank God it ended. Man, this is better for me because now I can just leave this behind and I'm at peace with this, right? If this is giving me like, somebody here that couldn't read the room. You have to be able to read the room, okay? If this person wants to be relieved, then be quiet, then do that quietly. All right? Don't speak it out loud. Okay? You can feel that way, but why do you have to say it to someone that is visibly disappointed or visibly sad? Okay? And that is a normal human emotion. Even if you weren't expecting whatever this is to come in, even if it came in out of nowhere, even if you weren't planning on having a baby, even if you weren't planning on having a deal, and it comes in unexpectedly, and you also feel like, is this even the right time? I don't know if I can do this right now. I don't even know if this is the right time for this. I mean, this is a lot of responsibility, and it's kind of coming at a bad time, and I don't even know if I have the finances for this. And you're like, you have all these questions, right? You have all these thoughts, but then you're also thinking about, okay, well, I could make it work like this, or I could do this and make it work, or I could, kind of adjust my life in this way, and then it could work out, and then maybe a little excitement builds, and then all of a sudden it's gone. To feel disappointment is totally natural and totally healthy, okay? And if then all of a sudden you're standing there going like, okay, so there's like this whole period of my time that just was spent thinking about a whole different life that now is never going to play out that way because it's gone all of a sudden, right? And you're kind of having to come back to reality, I guess. The last thing you want to hear is someone around you, very close to you, saying, man, I'm so glad that happened. Okay, it's very dismissive. It's very dismissive to how you feel. And it's like they can't read the room. They can't pick up on the fact that, all they were thinking about, oh man, this doesn't fit into my life at all. I don't want this. I don't want this at all. And you were not thinking that way. You were thinking more of the, well, I could make it work this way, or I could do this. You were kind of maybe allowing yourself to think more in the direction of, well, maybe it could work out, right? So, and I feel like that's the disappointing part about it, right? If you end up having a fight with this person, that's what it's about. It's about the fact that you don't feel like you're in a partnership at that point, because you don't feel like you're with someone that is also willing to find solutions to problems with you together. Okay, because if all of a sudden they're telling you, well, I'm actually really glad that didn't happen, what is that telling you about them? It's telling you that they actually never really wanted that. They weren't ever really going to invest in that. They had a negative, how should I say, like a negative rejection to it. That doesn't make you feel so good when you're in any kind of a partnership with someone like that. Realizing that, okay, so maybe, this isn't someone that would be there for me or would do this with me when problems arise, or wouldn't, weather the storm together. But they have some sort of rejection towards it. That's just not a good basis. Okay? What's the Five of Swords? The World. Closure, something ending, something closing out completely. The Four of Swords in reverse. What's that about? Mirroring each other in reverse, exactly. You realize that you're not mirroring each other. Like you didn't have the same experience, or that it's like in that period of time where you were both excited about something, they were only mirroring something to you that they actually didn't really feel, right? And then you know, that's the thing that is actually very destructive, I want to say, right, in the dynamic, is when you realize that they were faking emotion, like faking excitement, faking emotion, faking being ready for something that they actually weren't. And it really, because it's like going forward after that point, you then no longer can really trust when they are excited about something, or, you know, because it's like, are you really, or are you just faking it again? Are you just pretending again? You know, that really kind of makes you wonder, like, are we even on the same page? Okay. Because you said you wanted all this stuff, but as soon as it fell through, you were happy it did. I mean, that's just like it's weird that somebody switches up on you like that, right? Codependent, obsessive, possessive, and controlling addiction. Obsessive, possessive, and controlling, codependence. What is that about? Codependence. A Queen of Wands in reverse. A Queen of Wands in reverse. Someone that's codependent, obsessive, possessive, and controlling. The Hanged Man and Strength. I mean, I feel like this is you, but again, it's like seeing things from different perspectives, or realizing, all right, so I'm in this situation, okay, so you know, this is what's in my lap now, this is the hurdle that's been presented, this is what has come up, yeah, it doesn't really fit into my life right now, it isn't really the best time right now, but how can I see this from different perspectives? How could I maybe adapt to this, or how could I make this work, right? And that is where your true strength comes in, because strength is about the resilience of it, right? Or the perseverance. You're like, okay, I have the strength to do this. I can do this. Like, this is a lot and it's going to be hard, but I can do this. I could get through this. I could master this. All right. But why is that here with the Queen of Wands in reverse? Surprise, invitation, or meeting, hesitation. I feel like that's the other person that was hesitating, all right? Hesitating. They had hesitation when it came to this. And that's the last way that you want to feel. If you're in this energy of going like, you know what? Okay, I could do this. I could get through this. I do have the strength for this. I could make this work. And then realizing that you're with a partner of any sort that is not in this mindset, and actually makes you feel like you're actually alone in this, and that they don't even want this with you, you know, that's just really not a nice feeling, okay? But tell me more about this Queen of Wands in reverse and someone codependent, obsessive, possessive, and controlling. The Seven of Swords, somebody lying, cheating, stealing, being deceptive, trying to get away with something, being manipulative. The Eight of Pentacles reverse, about being not hardworking, not wanting to put the work in, lying about losing a job, not working on something. The Ace of Pentacles. Why do I feel like this is like plan B? Like a pill. I don't know. Is that what it is? Huh, okay. Yeah, something about becoming a father, all right? What I'm also getting here, all right, so this is a bit oddly specific, okay, but with a Queen of Wands in reverse, somebody that's codependent, possessive, obsessive, and controlling. So let's say this is about pregnancy, all right? And there was someone here in someone's past that did end up having children with this person, all right? Because this person had children on them to keep them codependent or keep them latched onto them or something like that, to keep them have some sort of possession over them, right? It's like a baby trap, basically, all right? Now you're with this person and you maybe have like a little like pregnancy scare or something like that. And this person tells you, no, I need you to take plan B, or no, I think you need to get an abortion, or, you know, I don't really want you to have this. And you're like, what? But didn't you have a child over there? Didn't you have kids over there with that person? Like, why are you telling me to get rid of it? All right. It's even giving me something like that, okay? Or this person telling you like, yeah, even when Queen of Wands in reverse back then got pregnant, you know, I wanted them to abort the baby too, but then they kept it, you know, or something like that. I don't know why I'm getting this like plan B or maybe something like that, not wanting to work on it, not wanting to put the work into it, either telling you to get rid of it or how they told someone else to get rid of it in the past, but they didn't. You know, and this person maybe being just very focused on what fits into their life right now. And I don't know, something like that maybe. Or even, like I said, even the pain, there is pain that could come up, okay, when this person had children with someone else, but if something like a scare happens up in your relationship, they tell you they don't want it or they're relieved that it's gone. That's a slap in the face. That is a slap in the face, because it's like, what? You know, that could be this as well, where it's something that you just don't understand. It's like, so with that person, you wanted to have kids, but with me, you want me to get rid of it? You don't want to have a kid with me? Or, you know, it's like, it's just something that doesn't really make any sense, okay? It's just, yeah, it's just painful. It's painful. It's hurtful. Like, this person really hurt you with this. They really hurt you with this. And again, what I really feel like is going on here is it's not the fact that you desperately want a baby and you want a baby more than anything in the world, and you're so heartbroken that they won't have a baby with you. That's not what it's about at all. Okay? The heartbreak and the pain comes in when something happens maybe unexpectedly, or, you know, and they show their true colors with the way that they react to you, with the way that they desert you, or the way that they all of a sudden don't want this or are glad that you went through loss. I mean, it really feels like, oh, you're going through loss and suffering. All right, well, I'm actually glad that it's happening, and I don't really care about how you feel, because for me, practically, this is better. And yeah, I did get someone else pregnant back then, but, you know, they wanted to keep it and they didn't get an abortion when I told them to get an abortion. But with you, I really don't want another kid right now. And so I don't really care how you feel about it. You know, is really hurtful. It's like, you know, it's a very hurtful thing. It doesn't have to be a baby, but that's what it's something like that. Okay. Or if it's something like buying a house, all right? Or buying a house. Let's say it's about buying a house. And in the past, they did buy a house with a codependent, obsessive, possessive, controlling Queen of Wands in reverse. Back then, they did do this with this person. All right? And then you land, something falls into your lap where you could get this house right now, and you're thinking like, well, I mean, I don't really know if I'm ready for this, but I do feel like I have the partner that now that this is here as a presented opportunity, I do feel like I have the partner to make this work together. I think we could make this work together. I do feel like I have the partner for that, or my partnership is strong enough to deal with this. And then the deal falls through on the house, you lose the house, and they turn around and say, well, actually, I'm really glad because it actually didn't fit into my life whatsoever. And it's like, that's, again, it's fine for this person to feel that way. They have the right to feel that way. They have the right to feel that way, think that way. But I don't feel like it's okay for them to say to your face while you're sitting there disappointed because you were just thinking about maybe having this house, having this life, having this family, like your mind was set that we could make this work, and now you're disappointed, and this person comes in and almost like puts salt in the wound, okay, and makes you feel like they're actually glad that they don't have this life with you. That's fucking hurtful. All right? And that's what it's about, is this person saying, I'm actually glad and relieved that I don't have this life with you, that I don't have this shared thing with you, that I don't have to have a house with you or a baby with you. I'm actually glad that that's not happening. That's what hurts. All right? It's not the fact that you desperately wanted this thing and now you're so disappointed that you're not getting it. It's that this person is saying to you, oh, I'm actually glad that I don't have it with you. That's what hurts. And I feel like that's something that's really part of the message today, is that when we're looking at situations from the outside, you know, it can come off like, oh, you're fighting now because you wanted that house and you're not getting it. But that's not what it is. Okay? Sometimes people's reactions, like I said, the way that people talk to you, the way that people react when you're suffering, when you're hurting, all right, that hurts way more, all right? Or that makes you feel betrayed by them in a way, all right? And you also have the right to feel that way. Your emotions are just as valid as their emotions. The thing is, though, they shouldn't, like I said, it's okay 3 months, 6 months down the road to look back at it and maybe sit down and go, you know what, it was better that deal fell through at that time. Or it was maybe not the right time for this or that step in life. But not in the moment, not while it's happening. I mean, like, read the room. Have some, like, compassion for what other people are going through, okay? I mean, that's just kind of what I'm getting here. So, like, don't kick someone while they're down, all right? Or, I don't know. What's the Nine of Pentacles? The Three of Pentacles and the King of Swords. This has to do with some sort of collaboration, people working together here. A King of Swords, finding a solution, working together, long-term plans. The Seven of Cups and somebody being confused, not knowing what to think. Some sort of messages or communication, some sort of information. All right, what's that about? Heartbroken. Yeah, heartbroken, deeply hurt, feeling lost, grieving, and mourning. You were definitely mourning something here. All right, you were definitely mourning something here. And you were heartbroken, and this hurt, okay? You were hurt by the situation, and not just by the situation, but also by your relationship, okay? I feel like your relationship was hurting you. Yeah, it's like they just don't care about how you feel in the situation, and that's what hurts, right? For someone really specific, okay, like another example that I'm getting here, this is very specific, but it's also like, let's say that you have like a shared dog or a shared animal, like a shared pet, but it's like more of your pet, okay? And then you just lost your pet, okay? Maybe old age or something happened to your pet, and you're really grieving that pet. And yes, you can agree, okay, to an extent that you had to walk outside three times a day with that dog, or you couldn't go on vacations that you wanted to because you couldn't leave the dog, or you had more costs because, vet bill and food, and like there's things that you can agree on to an extent, but it's like you're going through the loss, and on the same day your partner comes and says, man, I'm really glad that dog is finally gone, because man, it was just really messing with my life, and I really felt like it was not practical for me in my life anymore to have this dog around. It's that energy, okay? Where you're like, what the fuck? Like, okay, it's nice that you feel that way and you think that way, but think it to yourself, all right? Don't come in here on the day that someone is grieving and talk about how glad you are that it's gone because it wasn't practical for you. Like that's this person, that's this energy. And yes, you do have a right to be hurt about that kind of a reaction. Right? Because it's so fucking inconsiderate. All right? That's what this is. Meeting and conversing. Savoring them, feeling uplifted. I'm done. Yeah, exactly. While you're heartbroken, this person feels uplifted. And that's what happened here. All right? That's why I got that story as well with that couple, because it's the same exact feeling. It's the same exact vibe. It's like you're heartbroken about a loss. It could be anything. Like I said, it could be a pet, a deal, anything. You're heartbroken. And this person walks in the door and says, man, I'm really glad that dog is finally gone because that was not fitting into my life whatsoever. And oh man, it's a relief. I'm actually really glad. It's a relief that dog is gone finally. Like that is so fucked up. You don't do that to someone. And you don't do that to someone that has just suffered some sort of a pregnancy loss either. You don't do something like that. You just don't do that. Okay? Even if both of you, like I said, both of you can responsibly, maturely agree that it wasn't the best time, the best situation, but still, like, let someone go through their emotions and deal with something, a loss, without someone else coming and saying, oh man, I feel super uplifted by this finally being, I feel so, this is better for me and my time management, and it's better for my money that this is finally gone. Like, what the fuck? You don't do that. You don't do that to people. So inconsiderate, and that's really hurtful. All right? So I feel like the emphasis right now and the energy needs to be on the fact that something here is not about the loss itself, okay? It's not about, the pregnancy loss or losing a pet, or, that you always wanted a pet and you lost it. That's not what the focus is on. The focus is on the person that you're in a partnership with that comes in during this time and says they feel better that this happened now. That's where you need to put the focus, okay? Or someone does. Unhappiness, yeah. Unhappiness. In a time of you being sad, okay, there was no happiness, no playfulness, no oneness. Yeah, and maybe that's how you felt as well. You didn't feel like you were one with this person. You didn't feel happy in the situation. You felt very sad, very upset about their reaction. Like, how could you react that way? How could you say something like that? How could you be that way, that inconsiderate towards someone that's going through something? Like, it's only about you, and now how you now have more free time, and you now have more money. You have more, it's more practical for you. How can somebody be that way? That's not very nice. All right. 2 of Wands. The Sun, that's the truth about a choice. All right, or your choices. The 3 of Swords, this was heartbreaking, okay? This was really heartbreaking. This was super hurtful. Oh, this was super hurtful. Yeah. Very, very hurtful person, all right? And something about a choice. What choice? A choice to no clarity, no truth, no protection, no honor, no solidarity. Yeah, maybe you felt like this person dishonored you. They dishonored you by doing this. Yeah, and it also the dishonor. Okay, so let's go back to the pregnancy thing for a second, right? Like, let's say you are dealing with someone that got someone else pregnant and they're there for the kids, okay? They raise those kids, they're there for the kids. But with you, they want you to get rid of the child. They don't want it with you. Do you know that will make you feel like you're being dishonored? Okay, that's like degrading. Okay, that's very degrading because it makes you feel like, why? So with them, you wanted it, but with me, you want me to get rid of it. It's a slap in the face. It's a rejection. It makes you feel like with you, they don't want it. They don't want you to be the mother of their child. They don't see you as being fit for that, or they don't want that with you, or they don't see you as having that value or something like that. Right? You feel dishonored by that. You feel really dishonored by that kind of a reaction from someone that makes you feel like you're not worth that to them, or they don't see you that way, they don't value you that way, but with someone else they did. You know, it's kind of like, so why with me you don't want that, right? It's very confusing. And then they come in saying that they're happy that it happened. Is so fucking painful. Like, that is so heartbreaking for someone to act that way. All right. It's almost like they're glad that they don't have to be a parent with you. I'm so glad that you won't be the mother of my child. I'm so glad that I don't have to have a baby with you. Like, that's basically what they're saying. I'm so glad because this just doesn't fit into my life and I don't want to have a baby with a second person or a third person. I'm so glad. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? They only think about themselves in that situation, or how, you know, this is somebody that sometimes, like, when they talk, they probably don't realize how hurtful it is what they say because they only think about things out of their own perspective, right? How something affects them and their life and their resources. They don't think about how situations affect you or what you feel. They only think about themselves, right? So when they say things to you, they're not thinking about, like, if this is going to hurt you or not. They're only thinking about, well, themselves, okay? The Three of Pentacles in reverse, not working together, not wanting to find a solution. Yeah, not being able to find a solution together. You feel like you can't work together with this person. They're not on that same level with you where you would be able to find a solution, get through this somehow, have the strength. They're not. They're not willing to work together with you, do this with you. You know, the Page of Wands in reverse. The Page of Cups. Some sort of messages. The Ace of Wands. What are these messages about? Communication. About balance. Wanting something to be balanced. Duality, coupling, complement each other. Yeah, maybe you felt like, you know what? I really want something that feels balanced, okay? Like, I want to feel like we're complementing each other and we both want the same thing, and I can count on you because you can count on me, and right now I can't count on you because you don't give me the same thing back. All right, you know, this is like, I'm here, all right, ready to put in the work, put in the effort, kind of like a with a pet where you're the one doing most of the work. They're not really pulling any of the weight, but they're glad when it doesn't happen. It's like, It's many options in reverse. No more options, out of options. No more decisions. What do you mean? Feeling uplifted. Again, this person feeling uplifted because now they don't have to make decisions, or feeling uplifted because they don't have to make a decision. Yeah, this could even be like, well, this could even be something like someone being so cruel, okay, where they'll say to you like, well, at least you lost it because now you won't have to get an abortion. And you're sitting there going like, what the fuck did you just say? Well, you can be glad that, you know, it didn't work out and then you just miscarried it because now you don't have to get an abortion. And I'm glad that that happened. Wow, that is very hurtful, very hurtful, very hurtful. Okay. So why is this important here for the collective today? No reciprocity. No equal give and take. No reciprocity. Okay. Not wanting to move forward with someone, not wanting to move. Maybe you said, you know what, I don't want to do this with you. I'm not going to move this forward with you. This isn't going to work out with you. I can't work on this with you. I don't want to do this with you. The Seven of Swords in reverse. Yeah, you don't want to do it with them because you can't see yourself doing it with them. They're not a partner when it comes to this. All right? The Eight of Wands in reverse, yeah, they just made you feel dishonored, embarrassed, humiliated. All right? I feel like this situation left you feeling absolutely embarrassed and disgraced and dishonored by them, okay? And how they apparently see you or see your worth, or how they appreciate you and value you. It must have made you feel like they don't at all. Just very degrading, humiliating kind of an energy, right? Yeah, what else? The Four of Swords, the Five of Wands. Yeah, this is about a fight, an argument that you had with this person, okay? This is definitely an argument that you had with this person, someone did, okay? It was a pretty big fight. I feel like this was a huge fight where you also ended up walking away from them because of the way that they made you feel. And it's not, again, it's not about what actually happened as much as it's you walking away from them because of how they reacted to you. All right? How they treated you. How they made you feel, okay? Page of Cups, an apology. Yeah, somebody, and then they wanted to apologize, right? And then they wanted to apologize, and the Emperor in the reverse, something about not being a father, not wanting to be a father, not wanting to be a partner, okay, in whatever which way this is, just not wanting to be a stable partner in your life. Okay, the Eight of Swords here, them feeling trapped, the Nine of Cups, the Knight of Swords in reverse, yeah. This person was so cruel to you, and you want to know why? Because they only cared about themselves, okay? They were so nasty to you. They were so cruel to you when you went through this because they only cared about themselves and how this doesn't fit into their life and how they don't feel like this is the right time for them. You know, like this is like you being against, like I said, you being against abortion, and then they come in saying, no, you need to get an abortion because this doesn't fit into my life. So they're expecting you to do something that feels morally wrong to you. Like it feels like doing something horrible. Like you can't even fathom having to do something like that, but you're supposed to do it because it fits better into their life, because they want you to do it. That's horrible. All right? Or, you know, something about like, if something about a pet, okay, I don't know, something, you know, you want to take care of this old pet and they want you to euthanize it. And you're like, no, well, this doesn't fit into my life. This is a hurdle for me. You know, it's like completely disregarding how you feel. All right. And again, I want to say, like, they have the right to feel that way if they want, but they should keep it to themselves. And you definitely have the right to be hurt about this. You don't have to feel bad for feeling disappointed and hurt about this. It's not just about them and what fits into their life. It's very, you know, very unempathetic, ununderstanding towards you. Somebody that was not very sensitive towards you at all. So what should collective take away from this reading here? I don't know. The High Priestess in reverse. The Hierophant. There's a Hierophant here that didn't listen to their intuition. The Eight of Wands in reverse, about something being blocked or something backfiring because of a commitment or a doctor, a death. There's someone here that didn't listen to their intuition about a death, about a permanent ending. Who's that? The Ten of Swords, a painful betrayal, a painful ending. Somebody that lied. There's a lie here. Somebody that lied about a painful ending, a painful betrayal. Okay. A Queen of Pentacles. A Queen of Pentacles. Somebody is not listening to their intuition about a death and someone with a title, an institution, or a doctor maybe even, or somebody lying about a painful ending, lying about a betrayal, a Queen of Pentacles. Who's this that didn't listen to their intuition? That somebody was not in despair. What? A liar. Someone here is not listening to their intuition about somebody that's a liar, somebody that's manipulative. I mean, this could even be the person that you were dealing with, right? Like, them not caring. Like, they don't care. Despair in reverse. Like, you felt like their emotions were fake. Okay, like what they said, that they wanted this with you, they said that they were ready for this with you, but you felt like their emotions were fake, because as soon as something happened, there was no despair, they were not sad, they were relieved, they were happy. All right. Yeah. A false person. Yeah, a coffin. So it's almost like you weren't listening to your intuition when you thought that this person was actually happy, or they were excited, or they wanted this with you, or they were there for you or supporting you. But as soon as it fell through, you saw their true colors and you saw how they really felt about it, because they weren't sad at all. They were happy. And this has to do with an engagement ring, a partnership, a commitment, a ring, a marriage. This has to do with a ring and a marriage. This has to do with someone wanting to get engaged and wanting to get married. Yeah, it could be that as well, is that they just, they're always saying that they want this and they're excited for this, but then they're actually not, or they actually don't do it. I mean, or I don't know what that's about. Or it's the same concept. It's giving me, it's the same concept again. It's like, it's not that you're hurt because you want this and you're not getting it. You're hurt because of the other person, the way that they react. You're hurt about them lying, or them being a false person, them pretending, putting on a mask, faking it. That's what's hurtful. It's the faking. It's the pretending. It's not that you wanted this and now you're not getting it. That's not what it's about. That's not what's so painful about the situation. It's about thinking that you had this with a partner that also wanted it, that they wanted this, them making you believe that they want this. They made you think they want this, only to turn around and actually lie and not want it. That's what hurts. Okay? And there's someone here that's not listening to their intuition about this. It's not about these trivial things. Okay? It's being with a partner that makes you think and believe that they want these things, or that they're excited for this, and then they're just faking it. All right? I hope that makes sense for someone. A one-sided relationship, love bombing. Self-absorbed, somebody that they only care about themselves and what is good for them and how it fits into their life, and if it's the right time for them, and if it's good for their finances. It's a one-sided relationship where they're telling you that they want these things, and you actually want these things because you think that you're doing it together. You think you both want these things, only to realize that they were love bombing you and they didn't mean it. Okay? Yeah. They just made you think, they just made you believe that they also want this. They made you think and believe that they are also positive about this and they are excited about this, but they were lying, they were faking it. Okay? And that's what this argument is about. The fact that they were faking this. Okay? It's not about the fact that you want this and they don't want it. It's about the fact that they were faking that they wanted it too. All right? So I hope that this makes sense for someone. Maybe it's just confirmation here for your own emotions and what you went through, and that your feelings are valid. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time. Bye.